Welcome to Breaking Bread, hosted by us, Shades of Blue. I am Crunk Chocolate, and I am here with this red wine sipping machismo. Lando, ¿qué pasa, papi? Wait, you're muted. What's going on?
Hiwalang gran madre, we're doing a podcast. Hello, get with it, Lando. Damn, my bad. Thank you for that intro. Yes, all the good people out there. I am drinking wine. Thank you for that. Good to see you, boys. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. And
Doing well, Lando.
hey, so Breaking Bread. This is a show where we break verbal bread. You see what I did with the name, with the quote unquote enemy. Whenever Manchester City has an upcoming match, we will be here having a conversation with a supporter of Manchester City's upcoming opponent. Shout out to all those watching on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. What's up? All you listening on those audio apps. I was about to just say podcasting apps again, but Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, the homies at Good Pods. Shout out to y'all. Please rate us 5 stars. Give us a review, all of those things, boost the algorithms, yada, yada. But today, whoa, we got a beautiful show for you. Brentford, upcoming opponent. They are the first opponent before an onslaught of matches, basically until what, July? Because of Club World Cup? Ay, Dios mío. So Brentford, the Bees, buzz, always a good time. The last team to have defeated Manchester at the Etihad is Brentford. So that's fun to some people.
Not me. A good fact. Hey, that's a good stat you brought to the table. Hey, it brought me a little bit of misery in my pain. And Adam,
one of our why it was you who brought it up, but I'll take it.
Well, listen, we have an avid listener. Shout out to Adam out there. He follows us on Twitter and he's big on it. Crunk is always raving about the absolute pessimism that we get from him, which we argue is needed. Because if there's a certain balance, and I love this about him because he actually propels this. Thank you, Crunk, for giving a little bit more food, because now you've just essentially anteed up that pessimism that's going to be coming later in the week. That's a fun stat to open up with.
Hey, with all the success that Manchester City has experienced, here I am still with typical City. Am I right? Got to hold true to roots.
Yeah, you're spot on, man.
Oh, man, but here to talk Brentford. He's gonna be here buzzing around, giving us information, feeding us delicious honey, that the sweetness that is information. There we go. I'm getting there. I'm sorry, guys. It's been rusty. I haven't done a live stream for 24 fucking hours. Anyway. It's gonna get really weird by Saturday and Sunday when we're recording. I'm just gonna be saying things. We out here. Brentford, the Bees, the homie, he's here constantly, often. We trust his word. We appreciate his word. And now I can say he's a friend because we hung out, we drink beers and watched a football match together.
Yeah.
Friendship, especially in this type of community, than that. So Shady Gang, please give it up. You know him. You love him. Charlie Corr, how's it going, friend?
Good, Crunk. Thanks for having me back. And yeah, it was a pleasure to host you for a little stretch in New York City. Thanks for making the time for that.
Hey, anytime to watch some football and drink some beers, I'm here for it. And it was a cool, dark, kind of slightly lit bar. That's exactly like you're supposed to sit in New York. I felt like I was having a New York moment. So thank you for that.
Of course.
And then also we bumped into some Manchester City people taking a break in between the work.
Yeah, that's right.
We saw them, but also we didn't see them because they were like, you didn't see us. But I didn't get names, so we're good. Actually, I did get names, but I forgot them.
There you go.
So that's even better. I can't tell on people. I don't remember. Okay, but I since you've done a few Breaking Breads before, I've done just a slight tweak to the questions, so you're not answering entirely the same questions all the time.
Okay.
So kind of a change up to what we did last year, and it's a simple one. Why do you love your club, Brentford? Like, what's a best attribute, or again, the reason why you love the club?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the Premier League version of Brentford, I've kind of found that I just sort of embraced the whole fact that we're sort of the tough matchup slash underestimated club, and I think a lot of teams that find themselves in the middle, the lower part of the table, probably try to tout that. But I really think Brentford's kind of one of those that most opponents, kind of fear to some extent. I mean, you hear, Pep and Klopp and all the big coaches that have praised Thomas Frank and what he does because they know that they're in for a tough match, even though on paper, 99 times out of 100, you should be doing pretty well against a lower budget team. But I think we've created kind of an identity these last few seasons in the Premier League of that we're a scrappy team, and it's not going to come easy. So that's kind of what I've loved the last several seasons about Brentford, is just that we can give other teams fits, and we have an identity. I think that's a big thing because you look in this league and you've got like all your top tiered teams that obviously can budget way better than us, but then you've got a tier that spends a lot of money, but maybe doesn't have quite the identity. I just had to look at something. I was just kind of thinking about this question coming in, like, so like we faced Liverpool at Liverpool, obviously lost 2-0, and we weren't really anticipating getting points out of that, understandably. But then you look at Liverpool going to Old Trafford against Manchester United and just mopping the floor with them. And Man United, I hate to kind of pick on them too much, but that's a team that doesn't have a great identity.
It's welcomed here, sir. It's welcomed here. Please.
I mean, I just use that as a comparison of how you've got two elite teams, or at least they should be on paper. And we give Liverpool a decent run. We almost had a chance to tie it at 1-1 at one point. And then, and that was at their place. And then the following week, they go to Manchester United and just mop the floor with them. So I kind of use that as an example, as just, we actually have something, I think, from top to bottom that we know that we're trying to accomplish, whereas other clubs maybe just don't have that. So I'm pretty proud of that too, that we've kind of established that. So I hope that kind of answers your question. I mean, it's been interesting, seeing how Brentford's adapted, for the league, and we're still hanging around, and even at the moment, I mean, out of 3 games, we got 6 points. That's not a bad start for a team that's always going to have, some tribulations along the way.
Currently tied for 3rd in goals with 5. I mean, that's great start. 3 games in. Erling Haaland has 7, just for the record. So that's awesome. It's a great start. I'm with you there.
Yeah. And Fleckens looked good in goal for us. I think he leads the league in saves. I want to say. So that's been uplifting too. I mean, it's a good, it's a small sample size, but I like our start so far, and I hope we can keep that going.
Well,
hold on. That's a Aaron Wan-Bissaka ass stat to have. Like Aaron he won the most like slide tackles or one season or something like that. They're just like, he's so good at slide tackling. It's just like, yes, but it's not great to be in that situation in the first place. Yeah. Yes, he has the most stops, but it's like, come on now, he has the most stops. Like, that's not great either, though. So I mean, it's good. You're a cup half full person, and I might be a cup half empty person. Thank you for helping me realize that.
I was gonna know. I'm actually kind of fearful of Flecken. I mean, if you recall last year, there were some moments where that guy, especially against us, God, he had some saves, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, he's
No, he was
he's.
working overtime. He was working overtime against you guys. Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm just hating over here, and when I hate, that's how I show respect. Unfortunately, but let's get to the transfer window. Congratulations on getting that betting degenerate Ivan Toney off your books.
Wow.
22 million euros isn't bad, but during the winter, he was tied to Arsenal for like 100 million. It's quite the fall on it. David Raya joining Arsenal for good, money north of 30 million euros, but Brentford with that money. Igor Thiago, Sepp Vandenberg, Fabio Carvalho, Gustavo Nunes, Jaden Magon. That's almost 100 million euros in itself worth of players. How would you rate Brentford's summer transfer window?
Yeah, I mean, down the stretch, we actually did pretty well. I mean, if it was just a few weeks before the end of the transfer window, I would have said it was a horrible window because Thiago is really the only guy we accomplished with, and he ended up getting hurt in preseason. So, yeah, but no, the final few weeks of August, we really came through. I mean, I'd give like a solid 7 or 8 ultimately, just for the fact that we've got multiple players that can step in right away with Vandenberg and Fabio Carvalho. They've already seen some minutes. They haven't yet started, but I'm sure that's probably along the way pretty soon. And they're only 22 years old, and they've had some good loan spells. Fabio at Hull City, Sepp in the German Bundesliga. So, I mean, that really shored up some good needs defensively and in the midfield. So I like that. And then we got a couple of, kind of youngsters, 18-year-olds along the way. And this whole group, I mean, when Brentford signs these guys, I mean, they have a knack for getting them long-term, like 4 to 6 year contracts for like that whole group. So just because we know, the typical Brentford way is, you try to get as much as you can, and then the hope down the line is obviously you could sell them to all comers and earn a profit, and then just kind of recirculate with more talent. So yeah, I mean it was a pretty good window ultimately, but I most Brentford fans, I think, heading into mid-August, we're like, gosh, you guys got to do something. I mean, we've got bad news on some, we still have the injury problems that, date back to last season that have kind of trickled over. And so I think, I'm sure that they had a lot of this obviously in the works, but we just weren't seeing the final, dotted line. So it was pretty good window, but you starting out with Ivan Toney, I mean, that was probably the most worrisome, difficult thing of the whole process, is wondering, is he gonna be hanging around? And that there was so I came out of this window just with a sense of relief, because it would have been just a horrible situation for everybody. I mean, he obviously would not. He I mean, he was even like there was some comment. I mean, obviously he makes a lot of comments, but Tony was kind of saying like, look, if we don't get anything done before this, I'm hanging through the whole year. I'm not you're not going to get me out in January or anything like that. I saw something about that at one point, and it's just like all the headaches that we went through, with the suspension, and then just the poor results, and of course he always finds a way to talk smack about something along the way. I mean, it was just getting to be too much, and I think Thomas Frank and the club handled it okay, but I'm sure behind the scenes they were just like, why, we have to get something done, and it's you would think, of course, with a Saudi team, like we'd be getting a little bit more of a transfer fee, but I mean, it's like reportedly 40 million, I think, but you know what, you kind of take it at that point, just with everything that everybody's gone through. It was best to get him out of here, because he just didn't want to be here. I mean, he made it so evident. So I definitely credit Brentford for somehow getting that over the line, because it seemed like at times like that was going to linger more, and you don't want to have a disgruntled Tony taking up your roster. It was already getting to be a pain, just like he's training with the team, but not available on your starting 11, even though he's healthy and good to go, apparently, what are you doing here at this point? So it's done. I'm glad that they got that across the finish line.
Yeah. And it's hard to get rid of someone that everybody knows they want to leave, which is basically the Cancelo problem. It's the Calvin Phillips problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big up to you, Nick. Thanks for watching. Also, I'm sorry I said Calvin Phillips. Trying to be like, why you got to bring him up? So you're right. My bad. So we'll keep it moving. The manager, Thomas Frank, amazing head of hair. Sure, he doesn't have your club playing sexy football. In fact, I dare say Brentford has one of the more stress-inducing play styles. Watching their win against Southampton, no lie, 2-3 times out loud, I said to myself while I was watching, there's no way Brentford can win playing like this whole season. Like, there's no way. This makes no sense. And the next thing you know, they would score. And I'm just like, what do I know? And I know you've always said positive things about Fred. Are you still happy to grind out matches as your tactic? I mean, you said earlier in what you love about the club, what's the best attribute was you were like, hey, it's a slugfest with us, and it is what it is. Buckle up, buddy. And so, I mean, you basically have already answered me before I asked the question, but it's just like living on the edge makes you feel alive, but is it truly a way to live? So, like, are you behind the manager still Team Frank?
Yeah, he's got his ways, and he plays to the roster, whereas some coaches might be more playing just toward their style and just saying like we're going to go 100% all in on that. And Thomas definitely has that component, but he also tries to work within the components of what we have available and what the strengths are. And we've kind of made it known that we're going to try to do some, maximize everything on set pieces. We're going to be a counter-attacking team. We're going to, he likes playing from the back with, Flecken, obviously when Raya was here. I mean, he's, that's his mold as well. And then, like you take the Southampton game, for example. I mean, we were kind of, it was just an effective high press, and we were just capitalizing on Southampton's defensive miscues. I don't think that's going to necessarily work against you guys this upcoming weekend, but I mean, we knew that we could benefit from that, and so there might be some cheap goals along the way. I mean, Wissa hasn't really had a good clean strike on goal like this season, but he's in the right place at the right time. We've got good athletes, speed, youth. And you just try to use those components, and I think Thomas has done a great job of trying to do that. This season I think will be, obviously previous seasons was defined by going through Tony with understandably, when you've got a guy of that kind of caliber and size and can mess with defenses. I mean, that's what you do. And now, I mean, the hope is like everything goes through Brian Mbeumo. I mean, and his shots are a lot more on target these at least first few games, whereas the previous couple seasons he was always hitting the woodwork. We'll see how he can keep that up, but Brian, I mean, he's the guy now, and so we'll definitely go through him a lot more this season. So yeah, I mean, Thomas, we have a ton of faith in what he does. And there might be some questions along the way on battling through some of these injuries, for example. Of course, what's our outside back situation going to be? He's always rotating certain guys in there, and there's certain ones that work, others that haven't a couple times in the past. But he knows the players and what to get the most out of them. So.
Gustavo Nunes seems to be a player that I think I would look to, and depending on how exciting he could be, I'm kind of curious as to how that goes. I would also like to go ahead and have you officially on the record. I'll buy you some time here if you need to think about it. I need you to be on the record as to how many goals it would take for Brian Mbumu to have before you consider growing an Mbumu beard. And if you were to hit this record, I would need a status update at least weekly on the Twitter account. So what is the over or under on goals needed for Brian to have this year before you start to consider on growing an official? I'm just going to call it a Brian beard because that thing is marvelous.
Well, well, first off, there's a reason why my facial hair kind of stays at this level all the time, is because I cannot match what Brian has. Not at all. Now, I'm, gosh, it would be a pretty scary looking beard if it came to that. So I better go pretty high on the goals total then, just to make sure it doesn't happen. No, I mean, God, if he scored like about 17 or 18, I'll start growing something really hideous and long. I'll do that. Send me at that. Yeah, send me at around 17.
There we go. On the record at Corr Sports, CORR Sports. Great Twitter account. Keep up with it. Magic number 17.
Oh boy, I might regret that already. I think I went high enough to where he's probably not going to go that high, but I don't know. You never know.
He has 3, so technically he only needs 14 more. I think this is completely doable. Especially, who's your pen taker?
I mean, yeah, it's going to be him. It's probably going to be him. Yeah.
No, that'd be crazy. That'd be great. That'd be great.
Oh man, I'm going to regret this immediately.
Nick, I appreciate your comments. We'll get to your prediction later in it, but this is kind of crazy, my guy. You rate Thomas Frank a bit higher than Deitch. Why are you rating? He is literally
I'm with Nick.
Which he's a relegation specialist.
Who, Deitch?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So then I guess a bit higher. I mean, Everton is where Everton is, and Brentford is where Brentford is, and they've had really good seasons in the Premier League with the finances that they have to work with. I don't know. I think he's a pretty solid manager. I'd rate him. I guess I'm just arguing the word a bit. Like you say,
okay, all right.
Just say
makes me feel better.
You rate him higher. Like it's just like a bit because it just sounds like you're a bit higher, and it's just like I don't know, Deitch. I don't know. I think Frank can maneuver with his tactics, where Deitch is just like, we're playing my style, motherfuckers.
Limited Deitch? Is that your limited Deitch? Because I love that.
Yeah, I can't even do an accent. I just have to do because I had to focus so much on the aggressive tone. Oh man. Okay, well then let's look at the club a little bit. Could you pick an attacker, a midfielder, and a defender who will have a good season for Brentford?
Sure. Oh, I mean, in keeping with the what I've been talking about. I mean, Brian's the go-to attacking wise. I mean, as far as like goals and assists and his activity, I mean, he's the main man. I mean, he walked into practice like early in the season with a LeBron James jersey, and it's like, I mean, I'm sure he probably thought long and hard about that. Like he's the king now. I mean, he really is. Like that's. I mean, it's going to go through him. I mean, he has like top 7-ish goal scoring capabilities. He really does. He just hasn't shown it because, like I said before, he's hit the woodwork a bunch of times, and and he had some injuries too. So I mean, if he can avoid any stint away from the pitch, I mean, God, he can make a big name for himself. So I mean, without a doubt, he's the guy to watch. I mean, there are certainly others that I'm kind of hoping to have, good seasons like Kevin Shada, and I want to see how he can come around. But Brian's the main guy that should have a pretty respectable season, and he's gonna be in the forefront the whole way through. So attacking wise, I mean, he's the main guy to look for, and I think he'll have a pretty good run. He's already looked great in the early stages here. So yeah. So other positions. So midfielder. I'm gonna go with even though I spoke pretty negatively last season, I'm gonna go with Matthias Jensen, just because I really want him to rebound from last year. It's well known, his long throw-ins and set piece involvement. I mean, that's kind of part of his bread and butter, and that just didn't come to fruition last season. So he's already looked better in those regards. And last season, I mean, he just didn't look like himself. Just wasn't as comfortable on the ball as the previous season, when he just leapt incredibly after Christian Eriksen left. I mean, he was so solid that stretch, and then to see a lull last season was disappointing. So hopefully he goes on the upswing this time around, and I hope he does. I mean, it's our midfield. It's been a consistent core, but we haven't really had the depth, and now we got a little more depth, which maybe that, I don't know if. I mean, who knows, like, if him, Norgard, and those guys like felt like the pressure of just being like the only guys and the only options all the time. I'd imagine that kind of weighs on you a little bit. And I don't know if that's a component to also having a down season, but Jensen, I really like him. I know he's got the capabilities because he's shown it. So I'm hoping for a big year out of him. And then defensively, I'm going to go with Nathan Collins, who was
midfield real quick, actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
Fabio Carvalho, like, he was basically shunned out of Liverpool. I didn't realize how Brentford just ransacked Liverpool, because you got a few players from Liverpool over this summer.
Right.
Carvalho, he was kind of shunned out of the club. They had such high expectations of him, and he didn't hit those heights. Knowing he went from Liverpool to Brentford, obviously you're very happy because of the promise and everything. What's the expectations for him?
I mean, I was kind of expecting him maybe outside of this international break to maybe get a start or two. Like, I mean, him and Vandenberg, I mean, those are signings where you want them cracking the starting 11, like, pretty much right away. And I mean, I think there are some opportunities there because, I mean, like I said, our midfield was kind of thin, but on the flip side now, like, Mikel Damsgaard has started to come around, and it took him 2.5 seasons to really get going, and now he's looking better in the midfield. It's good pressure and good competition, I think, now that we've actually signed another midfielder like that, where I hope that that Fabio is like among those, just like pushing everybody as well. So but I am expecting him to hopefully start in the next several games. I don't know if he needed some kind of stretch just to work his way in the system or what, but I mean, he has, at least from what I've seen, like I mean, I've seen some highlight clips like when he was at Hull City and his loan spell there. I mean, he's definitely an attacking guy. I mean, we need attacking people at various spots, not just everything going through Brian, or we need it. Like, we've got Christian and Vitaliano, like, those are midfielders that are just like those grinded out, I'm going to do the dirty work guys. Like, that's just their MO. And we don't really expect a whole lot more than that attacking wise. So you need somebody like Fabio to come into the mix and kind of diversify the way we approach the game a little bit. So I'm hoping that he's got that in him. I mean, he's still pretty young. I mean, 22 it's not like he's on a downside of his career or anything. I mean, being at Liverpool, I mean, a big club. I mean, you gotta, if you're not getting the minutes or getting the playing time, I'm sure there are a bunch of factors that went into his tenure there. But so hey, we're the type of team that'll gladly take give you the extra minutes, and I think that's kind of the allure sometimes with these signings is hey, maybe you're playing a big club, maybe you're getting a decent paycheck, but you want to get a good reputation and you want to increase your value and get playing time, and if you're involved in a national team or whatever, you need to get minutes. So I mean, that's kind of like a part of our whole sales pitch is hey, we're the kind of club that can that do that for you, and you can make a good name for yourself, and hopefully somewhere down the line, if you want to go somewhere beyond us, we totally get it. We know our place kind of in this whole system. So yeah, I hope Fabio steps in. I mean, I haven't really seen a ton from him. I mean, so there wasn't like a preseason stretch to kind of like see how he's doing or anything like that. I mean, I didn't see anything current from him, but I mean, he seems like a stand-up guy and the type of personality that we definitely need there.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, well, you can go to the defenders. I just had that question about.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I was saying before, Collins, he's the guy that and I've been saying this since preseason of last year. He's been the guy that I was very, very interested in. And yeah, he had a very up and down last season, started to come around toward the end. And now, I mean, these first few games, I mean, you could easily make the case that he's one of our top 2 or 3 players during this stretch. He's been very impressive defensively. I mean, his just awareness, aggressiveness, I really liked it a lot. Of course, the set piece involvement, which is kind of a staple. He almost got that one against Liverpool. That would have been crazy if he got something out of that. So, I mean, I'm liking what I'm seeing in these early stages. So he's definitely my go-to, even though, I mean, I think I'm a big Ethan Pinnock fan, and I like him. I mean, he's just a great guy. I love everything about that guy. Surprisingly, these first few games, he's felt like a step or two off for whatever reason. So Collins is kind of picked up for him a little bit in a way, and so I mean it is kind of a all hands on deck thing, especially with the weekend we've got coming up against you. So yeah, seeing Collins have some success really early on, very promising.
Okay. Who starting 11 predictions? What is the starting 11 are you expecting from to see from the club? I know we'll get to ours. I'm excited because we have people rested now. It's the international break. We actually could potentially see Rodri, or will we not see Rodri? I don't know, but this is the better chance of seeing Rodri than not. I don't know. It's gonna be super fun to try to figure out what squad we're gonna see for Brentford. So, but you first, friend.
So Brentford's, so we've gone back 4 with these first few games, sort of a back 5 at times against Liverpool, but I think we're going to go back 5 against you, which we did a lot last season, and I just think going into the Etihad, I see us kind of going back to that. I have no clue, but that's how I'd anticipate us. So obviously Flecken's going to be in goal. We've had for outside backs, the last couple games we've had Janelt come back from the midfield to play that left back role. He's looked all right there. I like the way he plays, but I don't like some of the situations that he kind of has gotten himself in, as far as like some lax passing and just not knowing the pressure of certain situations. So I hope he's kind of gotten some of the kinks out with that. Right back, I think Chris Iyer could be there, but he took a knock in the last game. I have no idea what his status is going to be. So I don't know if Mads Roerslev is going to be at right back, but it would definitely be one of those two. And then the middle three, Pinnock, Collins, and I'm gonna go on a limb and say that Vandenberg makes his first start as a center back trio. That's if we do the back five approach. So we'll see. And then that would leave we'd probably go, if we did a five back, it would be three midfielders, which for sure Norgard, Jensen, if he's healthy. I know he left his national team, so I'm not sure the status of that. And then Mikael Damsgaard has looked great. And I hope he gets to start again. And then the front two would be Mbumo and Wissa. And Shada would kind of be the odd man out in that situation. But I just think going up against you guys, I just think a 5-3-2 is the way we're going to approach it. But you never know. I mean, it is a new season, and maybe Thomas is feeling something slightly different with his group. But that's the way I would kind of approach it.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. So Lando, I'm gonna give my starting 11, and you just tell me if you think there'll be anything different. But first, what's going on with Phil Foden? I know he's sick, but is it that bad?
I have no idea. If I'm completely transparent with you right now, I have no idea.
I was trying to look that up too, because I mean, they've just been saying illness this whole time, just illness, and that's it. Yeah.
I know his kids. Kids get you sick and everything. School's getting back. A lot of sicknesses are going around at this moment, but
he's right.
It's been weeks. I'm starting to worry now.
Yeah, the good thing is we're seeing him. He's active. He's engaged. So he's not in a boot or anything like that. I'll sleep 100% comfortable once I see the training photos. I haven't seen the training photos yet,
and just be like, "Oh, it's the bubble guts." Like bubble guts is that a word in America, in England? Bubble guts. I don't know. It's I'm just worried about him. Anyway, starting 11. Ederson at goal, of course. Backline doesn't change. Vardiol, Akanji, Diaz, Lewis. There's no reason to bring Kyle Walker in, and he's kind of, losing his stature at England as well with their national team. Then we got Rodri, Kova, and KDB, because I know Gundo is Gundo, but you can't really bench Kovacic just because of how well he's been playing. But what I'm about to do is I'm about to bench Bernardo, even though I love him, because on the wing, this is just if Savio's healthy. Because if Savio's healthy, I assume Savio on the right, Daco on the left, Halan up top. That's my starting 11.
Yeah, I don't see Gundo starting. I completely agree with the Kyle Walker position. Steady Rico, my son. Steady Rico. I need him as cool as you like. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. There's nothing changing with Rico. He earns the spot, and I don't want to even. I have blinders right now for Rico Lewis. Just let that boy ball and let him keep balling. Don't touch that position until it gets hoed one time. And even then, I argue, how's Kyle Walker training? That's where I'm at with Rico. I have so much trust in him right now. Rodri, yeah, he's back.
Yeah.
We're obviously going to see the homie. That's obvious.
Hair down Holland too.
Yeah, hair down Holland's a crazy one, isn't it? Yeah. And then straight up heated Rodri's another one too. Buddy looks like he is in a mood.
It's so crazy seeing him now, just how much he's bulked up from when he arrived to City. Yeah. Like, he's a completely different player. It's insane.
Yeah. He's a man. Best midfielder in the fucking planet. Hey. The Savio one, I'll play with you. I'll do the same thing. Savio if he's healthy. If not, give me Bernardo.
No. He's not on the wing. I don't know what we do with him, but he's not on the wing. We're not doing that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm well aware as to what Bernardo does, but
he's not a winger.
We'll start him there and see as it goes and tuck him in and let Kevin free range again.
No,
so Mateo's got to start. Mateo's 100% got to start. Even if Rodri's back training, Mateo for me is not levels with Rico, but I think Mateo has earned his start so far in the beginning of this season. Unless he's got a bit of the niggles, he's got to stay. He's got to stay in that lineup and keep it pushing. So, yeah.
And we saw Kova score a goal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he can push up.
Mm-hmm.
And, whoever is going to be next to Rodri is there to help pressure, but also help pressure in their own way. And obviously he prefers to dribble past people, but I have seen him make those adjustments and making those passes instead of making the runs, which I am internally thankful. I've seen the progress in Kovacic in pet ball. That is why he's done so well this season. Seeing that run he made in the preseason, that led to the goal.
Oh yeah, we saw that in person, didn't we?
Yeah, saw that in person, yeah.
Yeah.
And they were just watching it happen. It all felt weird because for a split second, everybody around kind of just like relaxed.
Shit just opened.
Yeah, and he just went, okay, and ran up the pitch. And I was like, wait, what's happening? I thought a whistle was blown or something. And then next thing you know, boom, bang, goal. And I was like, oh, all right, Kova, he's good. And here he is now. So yeah. Charlie, on your end, how does the starting 11 on our end sound? Is it scary? Obviously, Halan, yes, but
of course, yeah. I mean, I guess the question I've got for you guys is, how's Pep looking ahead as far as Champions League, and is there anybody within that group that Pep might be inclined to, sit, or my hope is that he's kind of trying to. You guys face this every single season, but that I'm hoping that's a little bit of a factor for maybe somebody not making the starting 11 or whatever. I don't know. You guys would know that situation better, of course.
Yeah.
Saturday to Wednesday, right?
Yeah,
that's what we're essentially looking at.
That's a turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best turnaround. It's the first set of back-to-backs. The players will be feeling the best they can. What I will say is it does fit. Like, Inter is better for Walker. Inter is better for John Stones.
Okay. Yeah.
Martial is young enough to play back-to-back games like that. I could sense Rodri coming off. Kovacic maybe comes over. Vardiol or Gundo comes in. That gives Rodri some rest. Gundo can get in playing form so then he can play against Inter. I assume Phil may be feeling a little bit better by then for Inter. So he probably won't start, but he'll get some playing time. Grealish, that's definitely a Grealish match. His possession is control.
Oh shit. We goofed. Jeremy Doku to the right. We go, but let me backtrack. What you just said, everything that you just broke down, completely 100% agree with you. Okay. Everything on how you just looked at that, just with me looking at Inter, Arsenal, Watford, and then Newcastle for the rest of this month, and how you put it, I completely agree with you. Kyle Walker, Inter, John Stones, Arsenal, get Rodri in as much as possible. Gundo minutes. Brentford, now again, respect to you, Charlie, but if we're really projecting here, we don't necessarily maybe see the Rodri start. I'm actually changing just when you said Jack Grealish there. International goal over with the English. I think Jack might get the start when he gets back. And I'm actually favoring a Jack Grealish start at left wing. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, he started in the match before the international break. I don't think we were too happy with the overall performance. I thought we were okay with it.
Actually, no, I was very happy with Grealish. I am team everybody needs to fucking relax on Jack Grealish.
Yeah. Well, there's a balance there, I think.
No, I think people need to relax. Even the people who are expecting things from him. Because even in the way that he plays, I think it's fine. Yes, could he be a little more aggressive and shoot towards the goal? Sure. But you can say that about most players on most teams. But the way that he holds up play, the way that there were so many goals last season that he scored off of fouls earned by Jack Grealish. When we're getting pressed and teams just seem to be getting the ball away from us, or their counterattack seems super tricky, that asshole will get fouled because people just hate him so much they want to foul him. The whole when he runs from one side to the other side of the pitch, everyone thinks that's silly. It pisses off the team so much. And we need those mind ninjas on our squad. We don't have many people like that. We have people who want to like destroy you through just beautiful football or just physical domination. Sometimes you just need to just have that dude where they're just like, I don't know, for some reason I fucking hate you. And that's Jack Grealish. And I'm here for that. That's why.
Yeah, I think Jack Grealish gets that start. Yeah, I think he looked good with the English, and yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm good. I know the way that I made it, the way that I was phrasing it too, it made it sound like you're like off of him and saying like he's shit and stuff. But I don't know. I'm just tired of these people. Okay, Charlie, how do you see this match playing out and the score prediction?
Oh gosh. Do you want me to give a realistic answer or a hopeful answer?
Because, like, what do you actually see the match going, and then you as a fan be a host?
I mean, best case scenario is we can hold you guys to maybe 2 goals. I hate to say, like, I mean, I'm kind of if we could get a 2-1 loss against you, I actually would probably be like, that is pretty good for what we've accomplished. That's kind of how I'm going into this, just because, look, I mean, you've got an insane striker who's averaging a goal for his career in the Premier League, averaging more than 2 a game here. I mean, he could have a 3rd straight hat trick for all we know. I mean, he's just on such a higher level right now. So, I mean, if we could somehow hold you guys to 2 goals, that would be amazing. And then I don't even care about the result at that point, is if we can somehow accomplish it. So that's kind of how I'm going into this. So if we can limit you to 2-1 with maybe only 1 Holland goal, I think that would be, this would account for a Brentford victory for me if we could do that.
This is the Brentford version of a Sharpie clean sheet.
It's gonna be crazy tough. I mean, I guess I don't like to focus on somebody's health, but like the Foden thing, God, if he's still not healthy, he crushed us last season. He had a hat trick in that February 5th game. I mean, if he's not available, I mean, that's also a massive, selfishly, a benefit for us.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be one of those where you just kind of hope, as a Brentford fan, you get another kind of scrappy goal, whether it's Wissa or Brian or somebody, and maybe take advantage of a miscue or 2. I mean, Diaz had an own goal against could we somehow get something like that and muster something to keep us close, but it's gonna be so tough. So I'm hoping that we can at least like keep it to within a goal against you guys, but I just don't see any scenario on how we're going to get even a draw out of it. I'd like to get a point, but I just don't see that happening, to be honest. So
The
sorry,
crowd
Brentford fans.
the crowd would be insane if there's a draw in this match.
Oh God, yeah.
The home field advantage. City has been fantastic in supporting the club vocally for a while at the Etihad. I am worst case, they will do their job and help take the players to the next level. But yeah, this is exciting. Lando, we'll get to it. We'll talk about it this weekend. We have our Fan Fest live kickoff show that goes an hour before kickoff, and we'll talk about starting 11s, player matchups, and score predictions before. So there's no reason for us to handle any of that stuff. But if you haven't, 2 new episodes dropped yesterday on our YouTube channel and our podcast stream. We have our UWCL chat because the draw happened on Monday. Shout out to Into the Channel podcast who joined us to talk about all of that. Wonderful, amazing conversation. And I have a lot of, they gave me a whole lot of, well, they didn't personally give me a whole lot of homework, but the way that they talked about players and certain matchups and things like that, it intrigued me to look into all of that stuff. And then Jack Gone, the homie Jack Gone, such a conversation, super fun to chat with him. Even it was one of the, I actually listened to it. I've been doing podcasting for like a decade now, but Shades of Blue for 3 years now. I don't really listen back to most of our episodes. I edit it. I take notes of when I need to like clean stuff up and things like that. But listening to a whole episode now, nah, bro. Like they're pros, they're legends. If there's any pause or space in the sound, it's meant to be there. If not, I tell them to wake up and they're back at it. So there's no reason to be listening to episodes like that no more. It ain't that serious. But hey, also, but speaking of listening to full episodes, Arsenal 86, our new Arsenal podcast. Actually, they're probably finishing up the recording right now. Our new WSL podcast, The 12, that is recording right now. Shout out to Tom Bomb, Treb, Tracy, Deep T, Tom Bomb. They are our new WSL. Did I say Mark Nichols? They are our new WSL podcast coming out. And then naturally tomorrow I will be recording your favorite wrestling podcast with the homie Grego. We have the Lit Stream on Thursday. I'm actually starting to do a new podcast with my homie. He lives out in London. He is a Manchester United fan. Go figure. But it is called Manchester is Purple. It's going to be my little like fun recreational project where we're just going to be talking shit to each other because he is a fucking asshole. It's going to be a good time. Like, he's hilarious. It's funny, but he's like not a
In
nice
episode 1, we read the wage bill for Manchester United.
Oh no, he'll crap on the team too, and that's what I enjoy about it. But he'll also like come at Manchester City. He's a wild boy, and I think I'm gonna share a few of those. But FanFest, we need to get this upgrade going because I think some of the topics and language and stuff we might have to hide it behind a paywall because it's
Casemiro is on $350K a week.
Hey, that's good money, you know?
Yeah, okay.
His heritage, all the titles that he won somewhere else, you know? That could be that one day.
Is making $200K a week.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm not even going to joke about that. We'll get out of here. Charlie, please plug yourself. Let people know where they can find you and the things that you do.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, as you said at the intro, I oversee the New York City, Brentford group. We basically got started as soon as we made the leap up to the Premier League, and I oversee like our watches at the Red Lion, which is in Greenwich Village, 151 Bleecker Street. Crunk, I mean, you were only a block away from there. When you joined the Man City bar at Amity Hall. So
Shout
you
out to
got a
Amity.
little taste of that area, which is fun. I mean, it's a great spot to be located to watch games all the time. So that's kind of my role. As far as social media, we're just at Brentford FC NYC, where I'm, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and yeah, I'm always posting a bunch of stuff on there, updates, always feeding Brentford club news and other things that pop up to keep that populated. But yeah, that's kind of my role, and the Red Lion thing has been fun. I just added some kind of some music pregame and postgame to kind of mimic the stadium a little bit, kind of make it a little more of a production. And so far the feedback's been pretty good. So nothing overboard. I mean, I don't want it to be a dance hall, but it's just little tweaks here and there to kind of make it a sort of a special thing, because we always get visitors that come through. And I mean, that's kind of the fun of it, is the mix of local and international fans supporting Brentford. It's still in the early stages, still small club, but I enjoy every bit of it and love promoting it.
That's awesome.
You might not want it to be a dance hall, but hey, I'm here for it.
Yeah. You play some music after a goal, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm bopping. Straight up. There's no question.
Oh man. Well, Shady Gang, we will be back to you very soon. Don't forget to like this video if you're watching on YouTube, rate it 5 stars, review if you're doing podcasting apps, retweet, quote tweet, share on social media, do all those things. But until next time, you know the vibes. Shady Gang, Shady Gang, Shady Gang.
Go vote.